Right?
Yeah. Are you going to send a challenge?
Send me the ACL, please.
I have to send you a challenge, remember?
Yeah, send me a challenge. I'm just trying to rate you and I can't fucking,
So,
I don't
which
know.
time control do you prefer?
No, you can tell me. You can honestly tell me. Um, in fact, let's play a 10-minute rapid type thing.
Oh, good idea. No increment.
Yeah. I'm gonna accept it now. I just wanna figure out how on God's green earth do I rate.
With an increment, without an increment.
Now let's put the increment on. I don't want to hurt you.
How many seconds?
Let's go 2 second, 3 second increment. They're about should be fine.
With a 5 second increment.
Between 2 and 3, yeah, 5 is fine. If you need more time, I don't mind. I'll give you as much time as you need. And you know, I'm not here to bully. Yeah, I think I've got something here. Let's just go to a channel to raid. Is that what we go? That's the one. All right. It's wait raid in 876 seconds or something like that.
I love to do raids. I enjoy raids.
Yeah, I've picked up one or two followers because of the rating, and I must tell you, I would like to at least support back to that. Okay, it looks like we are on fire
Yeah.
right now.
I've always
Bang.
wondered. You don't stream on Facebook, right?
No, I don't.
Okay, you should. You'll be surprised.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's really nice. Like, especially for what you do is perfect.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Let me just put that one away. Okay, taking the challenge on. Let's have some. Let's have some fun.
I see.
Let's
I can see the score is not favoring you just from the get go.
Yeah, but this is a free chess platform. We can't expect it to be always right. If it was a paid platform, it would be, that would be fair.
This is my son's new favorite opening.
And the French,
Yeah, for some reason. I don't know why he picked it up.
I don't know. I can't take a liking to the French. I, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. There's nothing good about this fucking opening.
It's closed, so people, it's not the easiest of positions to play.
That's not.
Yeah. Ah, I see your rating is quite decent.
No, no, don't look at this rating. This rating is wrong. No, this rating is wrong. Now you'll see this rating goes up and down like a.
Did you notice that you closed in your bishop on c1?
Yeah, yeah. It's one of the reasons why I don't like this opening.
Oh.
So I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what to do there because Fiend catering doesn't allow me out because you've got the D5 and what's it C6 pawn. So it's a gemos. I don't like this opening.
Did you say it's a hummus?
It's a gemos. Gemos in Afrikaans means like a big mess.
Oh, I see.
It's Cs.
I was starting to think like, where does hummus come in?
Hummus. No, not a hummus. Funny enough.
You're trying to prematurely attack me. You haven't
Yeah, I know. I know. I didn't follow your little three piece move thing. I'm double.
The answers could be found in children's nursery rhymes.
There's this point that I would like to tell the new viewers, if we've got any, to welcome to the channel, and that they must please take some notes, as this is how you give a fillet coach a proper hiding juice. And they must take notes. It's not every day that I give away free lectures, but today's one.
I see.
Yeah.
The answers could be found in children's nursery rhymes. Out of all the options you could take to play the French, this one is by far the most boring.
Is it the most boring?
Yeah.
But remember, boring is boring for you because it doesn't give you all the traps. This is why, especially for our singular view that we've got online at the moment, I decided to play this because I wanted to show them how to kick your ass with this one.
Yeah. I wanted to thank Angelo. Angelo just followed us on stream now.
Oh, welcome, Angelo.
Yeah, Angelo Pors. He's a veteran from LC's River Chess Club.
Out the river?
Yeah.
Angelo, if you ever wanted to know how to beat Old Ruben, I'm going to show you how to do it now.
He's laying out the formula.
Yeah. This is how you do it.
Yeah.
This is how you do it.
Oh wow.
So you never saw that guy. Angelo, this is how you should not do it.
Okay, this is going to be very interesting. Me and Dash joke a lot about this. There's no justification for this attack, so it shouldn't work.
It shouldn't work, eh?
But players like you are notorious for making things which don't work.
We get lucky. It's because of we've got the gods of Jägermeister on our side.
Exactly. You know,
yes.
The secret of beating a stronger player is to play so risky that
something that you didn't expect.
Yeah, of course. Like, he has to play a bit more cautiously because he's got something to lose. And that's the recommended strategy if you really want to win.
Yeah, especially when you know your opponent is much stronger than you.
Exactly. Okay, so okay. Of course, I can always count on time to take you out.
You could, but you'd be wrong, man.
If I fail on the board.
Listen, I don't have much skill, but my wife will tell you I'm fast.
That's you. Yeah.
Super sure.
How do I page you?
This might work, actually. Let me just work this out. Maybe it's fucking figure out. Wait.
You have a sense of humor.
I don't know. I don't know. I would love this to kind of finish. I just would kind of okay, wait.
I might learn to defend. Casey Collins, thank you so much and welcome. I wonder where you're coming from, Casey. Don't hesitate to do the do of liking. Hey, Tinashe Komba, welcome. Tinashe Komba is a friend of mine. I grew up with him. We used to. Thank you for the like and welcome. Tinashe and I used to be friends. Like we used to fight together. Like.
Obviously not in chase.
It's the area we grew up in. You had to be tough, man. I got into so many fights with him. Thank you.
Fights? I can't believe that you
he's now he's now, you know, like those old people who use aeroplanes to rescue people and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he does. Whatever that
rescue pilot?
Yeah. He
helicopter based or what is it?
Helicopter, I think, yeah.
Helicopter, so helipad.
Yeah, he was in Cape Town recently and he visited me.
That's impressive. Yeah. So, helibagging, what does he fly? Is it the Bell 222, the Paramate, or what does he fly? Do you know?
I think it's Paramates. I don't know the names and stuff like that because that would require me to be very smart.
He says, playing chess, inferior level. Oh, I hear you.
But I think it's amazing. It's an amazing.
No, absolutely so. That I do agree with.
Amazing job. Okay, since I think I've gotten rid of the West, so let me activate what we call the West placed piece, and now come and finish the job. Where did you grow up at?
Ruben, I grew up. Primary school. I was in a town called or city called Kingston Park, which is by Tambo.
Yeah.
And high school, I was here in Cape Town, northern suburbs.
Oh, okay.
In a school called Beerchesstv. Which they apparently want to rebrand now to Nelson Mandela High, and everybody's so angry about it. I don't know why. It's the school's name, guys. Calm out now. It is amazing, man. The amount of tension that goes into the name of the place. What?
Over nonsense.
I don't know. It's like, what do you want to call it? In between move or should I don't know. But we're going to be angry of one of the two.
Yeah, for me, as long as I can figure out how to pronounce it, I'm cool. It's just a school name.
Yeah, there's a definite word.
The one I couldn't pronounce was the one that Port Elizabeth, the new name.
Beerchesstv.
What?
Beerchesstv. So, it's an interesting one because it uses two of the texts. Beerchesstv. And I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but
yeah, it's just
all the oaks that
definitely sounds fishy.
It sounds fishy, you say?
The pronunciation, I don't think.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
I don't think it's the endorsed.
This is fishy. It's fishy. Yes, it's fishy. Obviously. Okay. And check up here, I think first. Boom, boom.
I'm going to.
No, I saw it. Okay, it's I saw it.
But what you saw and what I see are different things. You know that, right?
You and me are saying the same thing. It's bishop takes knight, queen takes. I want to go through it. Would you take that first?
I couldn't play bishop takes knight because my queen is hanging.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I said. You can't take bishop take that.
I'd come running back to Afrikaans must be the most potent word in terms of swearing.
Oh, it is exceptionally passionate. Like
the variety of swear words in Afrikaans.
No, that's true. There is a big variety of swear words, but I think the passion of saying things like you can say absolute nonsense words. You can go like, "Oh, this rock is absolutely gorgeous." Hierdie rots is absolutely pragtig. It just sounds as if you're happy to beat somebody with it. Just possibly as well true.
It's so true. You know, one of the funniest experiences I had with Afrikaans is at Jan van Riebeck, like it's an Afrikaans school, so and these kids, I'm saying today we're going to learn about fox, and then I just see their eyes like just go.
No, listen, but I do appreciate their concern about that kind of expression. No, that's funny.
And then what so I couldn't understand what the big deal was, and then one of the kids says, "Oh, that's grandpa's favorite word." I laughed. Then I managed to connect the two. It's quite interesting how you're sinking into thought over what I'm about to do to you. But
I'm not thinking. I'm honestly just moving pieces around.
you should have been thinking.
Should I?
Yeah.
That's a good tip. In future, I'll be sure to do that.
Yeah, because I'm in the business of giving you pieces.
But you see, I went easy on this one. This was just me giving you a little bit of a free knock.
Okay.
It's one of those things.
So my question to you is, where do you think you went wrong?
Oh, where did I go wrong?
Yeah.
More or less at the point where I accepted your challenge. Okay, let's go through it. So, E for Frenchy. Okay, so I don't know, the French, there must be a takes variation, takes, night out is fine. Close. Okay, that bishop that closes. Okay, so move
So bishop
5. Bishop closes queen in and other bishop in. That's all.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
So okay, so what do we do here, theory-wise? Because
okay, let me do this. Let me do this so that we can share with also these guys what we're talking about.
Yeah, let's follow yours.
Let me share with you a study.
Yeah.
let's call it beta evaluation. The Beerchesstv is already a member of it. Go to your studies, under learn study.
Under learn insights.
Learn study, and then you look for stuff that you contribute to. Studies that I contribute to. Do you see it?
I'm working on it. Yeah, got it.
Okay, so you see one called beta evaluation. Click on
Beta evaluation. Yeah.
Okay, are you there? Okay, yeah, you're there. Okay, so good. So here, the French is not really difficult. There's various ways of meeting it, and knight f3 is definitely one of them. After d5, you could play knight c3, which is a very good move, if this is what you want. So here, how you proceed really depends on your questions. So you could, the best way is to play knight f6. But almost every amateur will play either Pontex or Pontex is actually decent, but this is the worst, I think. To play d4, because now after knight here, this c5 pawn is not easy to maintain. Hey Fabio, thank you so much for liking the stream and welcome. So after d4, knight here, c5, you just continue with c3. This pawn is going to just die here, so you end up having to give it up, and white gets a majority in the center. So this is undesirable. There's many ways, of course, of dealing with the French. After e6, you could even play the main line, which is d4, d5, and go into the main arguments of what the French is all about. Alternatively, after d5, you can play knight c3. This is another way of dealing with it. It's kind of main line. But I do like what you did with knight f3 and the d5, and here, pawn takes d5 is the most passive way of dealing with it. It's boring. It's played by players who expect to get a draw. That's why your opportunities are very much limited in this structure. Knight c3 kind of lacks purpose, because I can just get this piece out of the game by playing c6. So, so perhaps d4, followed by bishop to d3 and castles. Then you get.
Oh, I see. That gets the other bishop out.
Yeah. So this could have been an improvement, but knight c3 is really bad. Now bishop d3 just adds, because now it's going to be very hard to involve these pieces in.
Get that bishop out.
Yeah. So knight f6, castles, bishop e7, castles, knight g5. Here now, not only have you violated the other areas in the opening, but without addressing these issues, you start attacking. This is a problem, because you don't have enough pieces to justify an attack. So I play h6 here. Maybe here I should take, but I felt that this helps you. Then
I was actually hoping for that rather than your variation.
And then I play rook e8, knight f8. But I just felt that this really helps, actually. It really helps white.
There was a study talking about this that you're saying now, about the knight coming up. What's it? Knight to d7, rook out to e8, and then knight to f8. Yeah, it was a study. I think it was. Was it? No, it was. I can't remember. But somebody said, was it Max who said that you can't checkmate with your knight on either f8 or f1.
You can. It's Lasker who said that with a knight on f8 you can never.
Was it Lasker? Yeah, was it Lasker?
You can never be checkmated with a knight on f8.
Yes.
And, I think Lasker or Steinitz, one of the two. So it's true. It's a very good defensive piece, and you'll notice, like in this game, you practically couldn't do anything after the knights get into this position. After this position, because they cover so much in very close proximity. So yeah, I don't really understand what your goal was after, to play g4. But there's, again, it's not justified what you just did. Um, so maybe you should maybe try to rook lift like this. Because now if I take, your queen takes and it's attacking h6. You see? So you're utilizing as much as you can whatever is in the position to bring your pieces into the game. So I'm kind of forced to play queen f8, and I was hoping that maybe this helps, but now that I'm looking at it, with the rook here, you exchange another pair of... this is a mistake. No, this doesn't work. I cannot play rook 8 because it hangs.
Of course, I saw that before, and that's why I didn't play it.
Yeah, but okay, so these mistakes are mistakes more of you've already gotten a tough position. Now it's difficult. So now I've kind of gotten rid of all the problems that were in the position. It's a question of converting.
Yep.
I actually almost made a mistake here. I wanted to take on e2. It's not a mistake. I think it's just, it works also. I wanted to take on e2 first. But then I realized you take with check, I take, and then you can hide. But then we can't actually hide. Yeah, this was winning. So the idea is that take, right? You take, I take, and now you have to, maybe this is the only square, because g1 is checkmate. So I would have played something like this. I missed this idea. I didn't see this during the game.
I saw that one. I was scared of that one.
I was worried.
Okay.
I was obviously scared. Okay, so yeah. Funny enough, I didn't see that after h4 I could just have taken. I saw it a move later. At some point, I think you mentally gave up. All right, hit me with another.
No, I didn't. I mentally just blundered. But don't worry. This was the warm up run.
Okay.
Any good Olympian knows that you don't give it your all in your warm ups, or else you're just gonna pull muscle in the finals.
So you played white there. I'm challenging you with
See?
With white. This is a warm up also for me now.
Are you ready now? Eh?
Yeah.
You've got both your glasses on, or is it needed? I've got both my glasses on.
I haven't even started using my left hand.
Yes, you can even go.
I've been invited to a knockout tournament with the Philippines players. I've been invited into a knockout tournament with the Philippines players. Starting sometime.
For tonight?
Next week.
Oh.
And I know who my opponent is. So we play like 7 rounds of 5-minute time control flat.
All right.
I'm looking forward to it. Hey, Hussein Al Safi, welcome, and don't forget to follow the channel and like. This is what we are working on.
Yes. Getting some coaching done.
Exactly.
As you can see, I'm clearly giving some proper hidings on chess. Teaching him how to get it played.
Do you watch TV, Ari?
What do I do?
Do you watch TV?
Do I watch TV? Yeah.
Just curious.
I just finished the entire season of Avatar: The Last Airbender, I
Really,
was,
my kids are watching that. The
yeah, listen,
the animated
Drew,
one.
I loved it. I loved it. There's nothing as good as getting a day off work and you're like, all the lols. That's a mistake because I lose a pawn.
Not really. There is some salvation at the end of that particular.
Is there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I lose also. It activates the dark squared bishop. The pawn is a very little price to pay.
How is it?
Mm. In this opening, you're supposed to suffer. So if I do that for you, you don't suffer as much.
I understand. You don't like anybody playing this opening. You're like, no, I will punish you. You will feel the wrath. Yeah, he's all sad. And I was,
I'll allow you to take that one back. I'm not
oh,
winning.
there's no taxi backs, he's on Chesbury.
I'm not winning like this.
There's no take back.
All right.
There's no. Yes. Rude,
Like,
and he just takes it anywhere.
yeah.
I'm like, there's no take backs on this one. But he's like, I'm going to take it anyway.
Do you know what it's like on when you think you're checkmating your opponent and and the time doesn't stop after the move that you thought was the move that was going to end the game? This one we won't even analyze.
No. We can't analyze a blunder. That's just a waste of everybody's time.
Okay, go for it.
Okay.
Like when you think it's checkmate, so you go for it.
Yeah.
And once you've played your checkmating idea, the time doesn't stop. which means it wasn't checkmate in the first place.
Yeah. Everybody's like, what?
I don't know what I'm playing here.
I don't know. No, I do know what you're playing. It's called the Sashalia.
Yeah, but
there was one or two people that I played before that played the similar thing. Come, Ruben. Let's not fall for the easy ones. Let's not fall for the easy ones. Ruben, don't you dare. What are you talking about, Harry? It's absolutely impossible for me to fall for the easy ones. Okay, let's figure this one out.
I have a feeling you're going to be calculating that one for a while.
Yeah. No, I do, reply.
Oh, by the way, the 2020 match that we played, we won.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we won. It was a nice game. We played against what was it? Some UK university. These guys obviously they were not really representing the true spirit of the British nation.
possibly not.
I won't even justify the next couple of moves with any calculation.
Don't. Just leave it. Just leave it. Just leave it. Leave it. Ah, shit.
I could have done better. Could have played rook d8.
You could have, but you haven't, so now you're stuck.
Okay.
And you have to live with your decision. Forever and ever, amen, this will be your decision.
There's a book which came out today from New in Chess.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
What did you do?
And we're not even gonna go through that one.
But I think this one could be very instructive. But anyway,
I don't think so. Don't even, please don't. That's just adding insult to injury.
Okay, let me see what I can play here.
Ruben, give me 2 seconds. I just want to run to the loo. I'll be right back.
All right.
2 seconds,
I'm going to wait for you to leave so that I make my move.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. You need, listen, you need every help that you...
Harry. Yeah, as we educate our Beerchesstv friends. Should I play? I should maybe. I'll play f4 for him. This is how we're going to play. The bed's opening. I'll just play any opening that comes to mind, I guess. It makes sense. Or yeah, f4. Waiting on Ari. Okay.
Alright.
I had time to analyze your weaknesses.
Ruben, listen, all the weaknesses I have is only those that I show you. I'm not the type of bloke that just runs around. See, there's one. Let me see. That goes there.
I saw a video this evening where a guy is in China and he's eating some meat, so he says to the person who's cooking, "Nice chicken." And the guy says, "No, it's meow." It's a cat. It was so hilarious.
It's not the type of thing we should be finding funny on the international street, my friend.
No, it was so funny. You should have seen his eyes.
Okay, I hear you.
Okay, what do I do here?
fine. Uh, that is, what is that? That is not a knight or e8. What is that? It's a.
And the answers could be found in children's nursery rhymes. It's now changed. It's no longer the bed opening.
What is a whale tail? What? Somebody played it against me the other day, and I was like, "What is this?" And I ran through analysis out. I didn't learn anything, let's be honest. But
Which one?
this that you're playing now, or was that out of the?
Oh, the Dutch Stonewall. This is called the Stonewall attack.
Oh, are you playing the Stonewall?
Yeah, yeah. It started like a bed opening, right?
Yeah, it started like a reverse Cillian type thing.
Yeah, it's got the bed opening with F4.
The
But
bird,
yeah, yeah,
BIRD.
yeah. Oh, it's actually what
Okay,
made me think of that video that I saw.
nice.
Yeah, it started like a bed opening, but the Stonewall attack is it's a decent opening. But the problem with it, it's like the London system. It makes players lazy.
The moment you know how to beat it, if you know that you're playing it, it'll be fun.
Yeah, yeah.
There was um, a video I watched quite a while ago. This is now probably a year and a half ago, where they explain how to develop the Stonewall and how to get past. And I don't know. I just never, I just never could get the idea of the whole past the idea of the Stonewall.
It's
It's
very
unfortunately
easy.
one of those things that.
Maybe you were not at that point, but I think now you would actually glean a lot from it.
Oh, that's a.
Yeah.
But it,
What do you think fascinates people when they look at chess and watch people play?
in general, or are you talking about avid players?
In general, like the general public.
Mm. A general public is the inability to understand. People have always been fascinated to look at things and go and stare in wonder as if there is something to understand that could not be understood. Meanwhile, chess is like today I was sitting there at a local pub and I was playing the one oak, but this is when I'm saying I was playing him, I'm talking about I moved a couple of pieces around and he was trying his utmost. And the people in the pub were flabbergasted at how strongly I played chess. And, but in all honesty, Ruben, you and I know that I play a fair game at best. I'm not a particularly strong player. However,
For
for
them.
everybody else, they're like, how do you think so far? No, it's a system. It is literally a sport. It's something that you practice. You've got to understand the sport to play the sport, and that's how I see it. And I think the general populace is just dumbfounded by the idea of this thing going that far or being understood that far. I think, but I mean, what do I know? It's not as if I actually play chess.
But I think some of the stuff makes sense when I try. It's very hard for me to think of what fascinated me when I first started playing chess. I can't think, except, of course, like you want to checkmate me.
Now listen, bro, I'm not here to take names, eh? I'm
I thought
not
we
here
were.
to shake hands or
I thought we were
introduce myself
friends.
as your little tomboy. I don't know.
I thought we were friends.
No, no, this we are, but I'm definitely not here for a haircut.
Yeah. At first, when I first heard about chess in primary, I wasn't interested at all. But when I started playing, I couldn't forget, like, how much it fascinated me.
It's absolutely a magnificent sport.
Yeah.
One, two, three, four. Oh, that might. Holy shit. And like 3 times around. There we lost it.
And the answers could be found in children's nursery rhymes. I come running back to you. I haven't listened to country in such a long time, and for some reason today.
But put some background music on, man.
You can.
I don't know how it's gonna run on the stream, man.
Have you ever received a strike from the DCMA?
No, I haven't. But I must tell you, the type of music that I'm playing and listening to, chances for them to actually flag it is so super difficult.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You did say that you were making some music, right? That was.
No, we didn't do any recording here. Back in the day, I used to dabble a bit in the recording scene, but
that actually was a surprise for me.
yeah, I know. All the business oaks like myself, we're not supposed to have ever been young. Ruben, I'm fucking in trouble here now. I'm trying to figure out.
No, don't worry. I'm causing it.
No, I'm thoroughly aware, my friend. Thoroughly aware.
Yeah.
After this, I would like to analyze this game, please.
Sure.
I actually want to take a note out because I've got a Here's move 15. Okay. Thanks.
You know what's so stressful about chess is, like, at some point you run out of stuff that you know will help you. You know what I'm saying?
At some point, there's no learned ideas left.
Exactly. Like, and that's actually quite frustrating. Like, of all the experiences that I have with chess, that I find annoying. Like you don't know where um, what you could do to enhance your chess.
You don't play any further. But that's actually a stunning point to get to, because at that point you're actually just playing chess, and
Yeah.
this is something that I've been wanting, and this is actually why I like chess 960 as much as I do,
Uh-huh.
because not that I'm any good,
Yeah, yeah.
but the idea of playing chess without a real or a baseless theory is captivating to me. I mean, I'm
But
loving it because
you do understand that once you once a lot of people start playing it, then it will have it would have the it will start having theory, right?
no, I appreciate it because it will have the same theory as what we have currently. Moving shit into the center, um, grabbing a hold of the open files, etc.
Yes.
So, and I understand that.
And you're fine with that.
Well, yeah, but still, you're not locked into the idea of a um, theory only, or call it a theory only open. Me?
Okay.
Or that's how I feel about it. Check this shit out. You didn't see this tactic. You didn't see this tactic. Did you see the tactic?
No, I
I
haven't.
don't think you did.
All I know I haven't done anything wrong.
You haven't?
I
I
haven't
think
done
you
anything
have.
wrong.
I think you made a mistake. And I'm gonna call you on your bullshit now.
You're very naive.
Yes, just look at you go. Like, quit. No questions asked. You're just like, boom, naive, my brew.
If you're happy and clap your hands.
It's one of those things. It's one of those things. Listen, you can't fault me for trying, bro. And I'm gonna keep on trying.
Oh, the
And one
reason
day is one day, and I will beat you one day.
the reason why I'm thinking is not because it's a good move. It's because I want to see what is the fastest way to win.
I appreciate that you think there's a faster way to beat me than what I think there's a way to beat you. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop trying.
Yep. And the answers could be found in children's nursery rhyme. Coming back to you.
One.
Smoking got me high.
You shouldn't say that on a live channel, bro. It's supposed to be all educational. So.
feeling like we just rolled up on me. I'll have small. I'm keeping the moves gangster.
Gangster?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
At this point, as it normally happens in tournament, your friends start gathering up. They were not there when the position was looking good.
Listen, at this point, in tournaments, I don't think anybody's gathering up because I think it is very clear. This position is on. Jeez.
Yep. You said you want to look at this one, right?
Yeah, please. Cancel that rematch. Where do we go? Learn. What's it? Study. Trade studies.
Yeah, better evaluation. Okay, so here F4. So okay, a couple of things. They are minor, but so for me, it just occurred to me. I don't know the theory behind this. Just occurred to me that this could be quite annoying, and I don't know if I've got a good response to this. But it's
Ruben.
Yeah.
So my query here is how I approach this type of thing is pretty much the same as what you. So we know what the open would be if the roles were reversed.
Yeah.
And the theory is the same, but with a tempo less.
Yeah. But also it's kind of confusing because it's also with information less.
Okay.
So let's say, for instance, the difference is if I play E4 and you play C5, I'm playing with more information than when I play F4 and you play D5.
D5.
Yeah. Do you get the idea that I'm playing with more information? What it means?
Yeah.
I know what you're doing.
Correct.
With a move, right? So it's kind of it's a bit of it's like a it's a funky space mentally to be in where you're thinking, okay, I'm ahead, but I really don't know what my opponent is doing or is intending to do, because here I have the move, whereas in the other scenario I still have the move when I play E4. So it's not the same. It's not the same. It looks like, but it's not. So I thought actually what you were going to say is, oh, why are we moving the same pawn twice? But anyway.
I know that you say that might be annoying, but I don't think I would ever play that because it feels like you're immediately overextending and not moving your back or improving your back rank.
The other way of looking at it is, if I were to ask you, so if you were white, what would you do to this pawn?
To that pawn?
Then you realize that it's not such a simple problem. Chess is about posing each other problems, right?
Oh, oh shit.
Do you see what I'm saying?
No, so you capture it, E takes D, right? With the idea that the queen comes out, and then G, knight to E2.
Yeah, but then you're blocking your own bishop and stuff.
It's fine. You still have the momentum with the queen going back up.
That's a terrible position. I would never play that. But you see what I'm saying? All I'm saying is it poses problems. And I would never play my knight to E2. So
That's fine. I was just throwing ideas into the pot.
E3. So now when you play bishop F5, knight F3, now again this idea comes back, you see, because now it's supported by a knight.
Yeah.
That's why now I just decided to swap and change to the stonewall.
So,
Yeah. And again, you make this same mistake you made in the first game, where you start attacking, but you haven't completed development. It's almost like you're being Steinitzy and you're saying, oh, it's wrong, but it's my idea. You know?
No.
But
If I was only Steinitz,
I don't even
wouldn't
think
have
that
been so painful.
Yeah, I don't even think that you thought of it. There's something wrong with this move.
So the move, no.
So you're playing for one move attack. This is why I'm going to beat you a lot, because you're playing for, you're playing checkers. You have to stop playing checkers. You have to think strategically in long term, because you know the words to what you need to be doing here. You haven't married that with your play, with your practice. So here your moves could have been better utilized doing something else. Knight e4 was better, or castles.
D4, tell me quickly, what do you feel and how do you feel about bishop to G6?
Why are you moving backwards?
Because your light square bishop is already attacking that. I don't want to open up the E file.
Well,
and I'm honestly just applying some of the Italian structure here.
Yeah, but then if you allow me, if I was stupid enough to take on F5, that would be very good for you. Then this is very weak. I would never take on F5, right? Because now once you've got the open file to this pawn,
one castle to bring the rook out.
Exactly. So I'm never going to take here. So this is the part where you say, like, okay, you ask yourself, does your opponent have any threats? Right? You ask yourself, does your opponent have any threats? And you say, oh, you could take on F5. And then you ask yourself a second question. Is that really a threat? It's not. It's not a threat. So you could use this move a bit more wiser. So attacking without completing development, I just protect and put my queen on a better square.
Yes.
And now, this move now comes with some threats, which it didn't have, which it wouldn't have normally. So now you feel compelled to take, but then your knight is going to be misplaced. The one on G4, because now I open a file which I didn't have before.
Yeah.
And here's the funny part. Let's look at it philosophically and say you are the one who doesn't have the greatest of positions, but you're the one who's trying to attack. So my strategy will always trump your tactics. Do you get it?
Yeah, I do.
But what you're doing is it's like you are playing for tactics only. I'm combining long-term planning with tactics.
I hear you. I don't have long-term planning. All I have is tactics.
Yeah, but okay. So I think maybe let's discuss this. Already because of. It's not even that you don't have long-term planning. You've deprived yourself of long-term planning by starting to attack before completing development. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like imagine you've got a kid and he goes to school and starts going to school. Before he finishes matric, he decides to go to work. So he starts attacking before completing development. Right? You start making money before the other kids. But the ones who stayed in school are eventually going to catch up and surpass him. Because he didn't complete development, right?
Okay.
It's practically the same thing.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Queen H4, now almost like, because this kid started working and got a house and now he's stuck to the rent, you are now committed to the strategy of keeping on attacking without completing development. Now the queen jumps in. But now, let's look at this. How many attackers do you have? 1, 2, 3. How many defenders do I have? I've got 1. Which can eliminate your attacker. So,
Okay, again, why is the bishop a defender and not the queen here?
Oh, the major pieces are never defenders. They're actually terrible at defending.
So you only have the bishop as a defender.
The only reason also the bishop is a defender is because it can eliminate this attacker.
Yes.
That's it. Otherwise, it would not normally be a defender because it's not on the king side.
Okay.
So h3. So the same strategy I used in the first game. I'm going to parry your attack, and then I'm just going to attack you. I just have to be very careful to make sure that I don't miss anything.
Yes.
Now you eliminate one of your attackers.
Yes.
And you were not forced to eliminate one of your attackers.
Yes.
So this is a mistake. The mistake actually is you are violating. To take is a mistake. If you're not going to benefit from captures, don't.
Okay.
Right. So here you take, I take. And now notice how this helps me. This pawn that you've put in the center, after this.
Yeah, blocks everything.
Yeah. So, okay. So here there's a few good moves. Number 1, notice I'm not attacking. I'm just putting my pieces in better positions. First, this knight is much better now. I'm increasing the mobility of this knight. And now this bishop, which is a terrible piece. It's blocked by its own pawns. Now you played here and you're threatening again, playing for short-term stuff. You're threatening knight g3. So by playing queen here, I defend against that. And also, one of the things you haven't maybe even thought of is I defend d4. Consequences of moves, right? Are you there?
I'm sorry.
Okay, so queen f2 keeps an eye on d4. So now I'm defending d4. I'm also defending g3. And I've got e4 ready. Now, e4 would not be possible if you had not taken on d3. Consequences. So, f6, e4, knight goes to?
Go back for me quickly to 15 f6. So here, I made a note now here specifically. Just turn my board around. There's 15 f6. I actually thought 15 f6 was a strong move, and this is where I wanted to analyze with you.
Yeah, but you're thinking of tactics.
I am thinking of tactics, as I said. This is kind of what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, very.
So your idea is that suddenly tactics are going to work for you. There's a few ideas that you haven't even looked at, which I didn't even bother trying. One of them is g4.
But you're white.
Yeah. Queen takes h3, pawn takes f5. The reason why I didn't bother about them is they give you chances of harassing me. But I'm better strategically, so there's no point in me risking the position. Right?
Okay.
What made you laugh?
It's all right. Remember, I'm paying you to coach me.
Not really.
I'm literally paying you to get me to the point where I'm gonna kick your ass one day, and I will record that, Kate. But up till then, I will take your hidings. No problem. You just carry on. You just carry on, continue.
So f6. It gives you chances, and I agree with that, but it doesn't really. It doesn't.
I didn't see the fork. I didn't. Well done. I
Okay.
didn't.
So, but it's not even a good fork. This is much stronger. G4, and now take. Also, all this is forcing, and now my bishop, because of these two central pawns being in the dark squares, this bishop is actually quite a bad piece. So
Yes.
so that's why I eliminated for the knight, because
Yeah.
knights also are very good in this position. And yeah, very important to play this. I want to play
It's been
something.
other looking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to play this, but then you have this check. So Queen G3. Again, if you look at my pieces, all of them are doing something. Right?
Yeah.
Take. And this is just a blunder. It's a tactical blunder, which doesn't make sense actually. Because yeah, I'm not so sure what would be the best move. But my next idea is to play d4 here. So you could maybe play d5 if you want. d4 yourself.
What about a knight b4 move here?
Knight b4. It just seems to be a bit out of the way of what you're supposed to be doing.
It is out of the way, yeah, but I don't have much of a choice because anything else loses the knight. Or do you disagree?
No, you're not losing the knight, but it looks interesting. For instance, I'd be very keen to just play d4 here.
And then knight takes pawn.
Knight takes pawn, rook a8.
Knight back to b.
Knight b, rook takes.
And then knight to d.
d3. What's your point?
Yeah.
What are you doing? I'm taking other pawns here.
The idea here is to
even this seems a bit far-fetched for me to even go to this queen side. Let's say knight b, d4, knight
immediately go d.
Knight takes, right?
Or immediately go d.
Now just to evaluate this position. Oh, you mean instead of taking there?
Yeah.
Okay. Knight here. If you go this way, then it's just very simple for white. Just rook it.
And then you go knight to f.
Knight f4. Then rook here. This is a very good position for white. I've got a passed pawn, so long term this is going to be very good. So I don't think you have to do anything extraordinary. One of the things that you also need to sort of assimilate is the idea that when you don't have the advantage, you don't have the advantage. Don't pretend you have it. Just being realistic.
Right.
Like chess, you can compare it to the way you handle life. You know, you choose your battles. At no point
Huh?
in life do you go, okay, this I'm clearly losing. I'm just going to jump in and hope it works. You know?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. Take this is just a blunder. I think you, for some reason, saw a mirage of stuff here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was calculating d4, by the way. That's why. I just didn't like the fact that it makes me feel a little bit naked after this. But I'm still winning. Something like this. But here I think this is just lost after queen b4. You're threatening mate, you're threatening b7,
Mhm.
you're protecting everything. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Lost.
Okay. One more?
Yeah. Boy.
Let's see.
I'm always in for the friendlies, bro.
You always?
I'm always in for the friendlies. These games.
Let's see.
How's it, guys? And guys on chat, feel free to query or feel free to comment. Let us know what you think. Comment below.
Let me give you a random color. Camera. I am liking the way my scoreline is looking.
I'm very sure. But don't worry, it's going to change just
I've
now.
never seen something so beautiful.
It's only because I allow it, eh?
Welcome running back to you. Okay, so that's the first boo-boo.
No, you can't say that yet.
Oh,
You haven't lost yet.
I can definitely call it immediately.
No, you can't. You haven't lost yet. Remember, you can only call things like that once you've learned your lesson completely and thoroughly. At least I'm also humble too.
That the dollar sign should be keeping us apart. But you know that I love you. You know that I love you. Oh, I love you. Oh, that hits me more than it does you. I just want you to know.
Okay. I appreciate your candor.
It can bring me back to you. It can bring me back to you. But you got to pay the rent. So I must leave. There's a secret about these positions is that if you are the one who's playing the dynamic side of it, which is the side that you're playing, you must
Okay.
you must try to keep it more dynamic and less static. Um,
Meaning?
so when you exchange queens like this, it becomes much more of a technical position than a dynamic position. You with me?
Yeah.
And the guy who's got more space and better structure has got more chances in this kind of structure than um, than the ones you've got. And now you have bishops, but you have closed the position. So this is something that we need to significantly work on. The fact that
Okay.
you violate stuff that you shouldn't be violating,
Okay.
right? What really surprises me is the energy that you immediately play the next move with.
It surprises me too, eh?
Like nothing was wrong with this, was all planned. I played bishop a6, I had calculated knight c7, bishop takes c4, rook c1, bishop d3. Oh, even this is worse. Why did you give up the bishop?
Yeah, I'm going to show you now. This is all part of the tactic, huh?
I almost could tell you your next move. I want to beat you without even taking that pawn. Oh, I lied a little bit.
Didn't lie a little bit, you lied all the way. We're not gonna analyze that one. That was a shit game.
Do you want another one?
Yeah, of course I do. I already sent you the. Do you want to go to bed?
No, just one more. One more.
Okay. One more is what?
I've got an 8 o'clock.
Then isn't it? You just go to the loop quickly and then we can play out also.
Do you have a computer in the loop?
Say again?
Do you have a computer in the loop?
No.
Okay.
I run outside. Luckily, I've got a little bush outside the dry room. I'm back. do this. Really?
Okay.
Let's do this. Yeah. Okay.
Now,
Go.
there's something about that opening that you played, which I really like. But like, there's a nature to them. Those openings, that when you get them, they can be so amazing and interesting. Um,
Are you talking about the King's Indian defense-esque moves that I do, or what are you talking
so
about now?
what you play is, it's not a King's Indian defense. It's like it's a Benoni.
Oh, the previous one against the London, yeah, the Benoni defense,
Yeah,
yeah.
they are they are they've got a life of their own.
They're a cheeky line, isn't it?
Yeah, but you need to tap into their energy to really exploit them.
And how do we do that?
I'll show you now once
Okay.
we
Once we're
finish.
done with this, there's some last term game that we're going to play against each other. Because,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just here to give you a quick hiding, and then you can give me a proper coaching session. It's one of those things we
I am
can't hide away from the hiding forever.
But you can really enjoy these openings, especially in open tournaments, are very nice.
The French,
Not the French, the
Benoni.
those kind of Benoni Benko type
Mm.
setups, they can be very, because also players, the white players, don't really spend a lot of time on them.
Well, it's not a mainline thing, especially because after D4 and knight F6, and then whatever, either bishop out or call it C4, most people try and protect the forward pawn first by doing something like an E6, something like that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, found the stuff that I was looking for.
That's lucky. I haven't found the stuff that I was looking for.
You appreciate stuff that I'll show you. Oh, you haven't moved. You haven't you haven't made a move, and you
No,
still
I haven't made a move, Ruben. I'm
haven't
trying to
found.
figure out what the right move is here. Remember, I haven't studied the French yet, so to me, everything is a loss right now. Every single move I do, in my opinion, is wrong. I don't know.
Back to you.
That should be right.
Okay. This position kind of reminds me of the.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I said this position kind of reminds me of the Scandinavian.
It does?
Yeah. Hey, Paulo Oliveira, thank you so much. That's my friend Jamon. It's one of the when I first got to Cape Town, Jamon was the strongest player I first met, and he was beating me like left, right, and center. He relaxed a little bit over the years. And that's
It's a pity. Doesn't he want to just come back and give you a proper item just for my sake tonight? No. just to keep it nice and friendly for you.
He gave up on the violence.
Oh, you gave up on the violence?
Ooh, this is gonna hurt. How did I forget this? Ooh, I have to fight. Yo. Oh my god. I wish it was rated. I'll be dropping a ton of points here.
I don't want to be rude, but I don't believe you.
I'm telling you, like I completely missed that. When you play knight b3, you're protecting the rook. when
No, I'm not.
When you wake up tomorrow morning, I would have scrubbed this part of the video.
How is it? That's funny.
Oh my god. I completely missed that. I'm going to jump you on time.
That's all right. It's all right. As long as I, afterwards, when I analyze this game, then I'm going to be like, I should have done this. And I'm like, okay, no problem. At least I found it in a real game. Then I'm happy.
Yeah, no, this was bad. I just overlooked the idea. I would have to be very creative to survive this. Oh shit, I didn't this is even worse. I've been talking too much shit today. No, a good move is a good move. Very well done.
No! I told you at the beginning of this video, and this to all 3 viewers currently online, this is how you beat Uncle Ruben. One more Ruben, just to
to rebalance the universe.
Yeah. Just make sure that, while we go to bed, some form of black hole doesn't swallow the entire fucking Milky Way.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Part of this guy that I'm playing in the Philippines that I'm going to play is
yeah.
going to be so confused with these games because I'm pretty much playing everything. When Peter wakes up in the morning, this game will not be. This part won't be on the video.
No. But you know what the nice thing is, it is logged on my game report, so I can always go
You
over this
underestimate my
again.
influence across the platforms.
Oh, okay, now you.
Oh, you can. You know what it's like here? If I lose to Chase, I don't hear the last of it for the next few days. This is what it's going to be like here.
No, I won't ever mention it, but I'm definitely recording this, and it's definitely going on YouTube.
For the whole world to see. No. Oh, I love you, but you know the love. Legendary Sunning. Consequences.
Oh, nice.
You had seen it, but you still played the move.
Yeah, so it's like,
Oh, I thought you just gambled anyway.
I'm past the point where I'll gamble it.
So next week we are going to Caledon because Chase qualified for this tournament, the regional. I don't know what it is. Something to do with schools. We're going
yeah.
to. I'm just trying to think if I should go. like
As opposed to doing what?
no, I'm saying like the day before, and make it into a weekend there. Come big
So
celebrate.
what's it, next weekend or what?
Yeah, next weekend. Yeah,
When is it? Next weekend.
it's a nice. It's a quiet place. We've been there before.
Caledon. Yeah, I know the posse. It's a nice spot. There's focal here. Let me just
Legendary son name. I am Sparta. I can like butter. On weekends, we should have more of these ones.
yeah. The problem is my weekends are usually so super full.
How do you know it's a secret way of me getting you out of your super full weekends?
Nice. Thanks, boys. Fuck me.
You're using that favorite word of yours.
It's a moss. No, I'm out.
Okay, good. Let me show you something interesting.
Okay, show me quickly.
Go to your analysis, your study.
Study, yeah.
What did we call it? Beta evaluation. My private studies. Yeah, beta evaluation. Go. Okay. So those openings that you double with, they're very good openings, but you just need to figure out how they are played. That's one thing you don't have right now. Let's go back here. Okay, let's add a new chapter. Let's call it Benoni. Okay, I like them. I really enjoy them, and I think seeing you violate them like that seems personal.
Yeah.
Okay, so usually they go d4, knight f6, c4, and you go c5, right?
Yeah.
So white normally goes d5. So here, correctly, you should play e6 immediately. Right? This is the first part. So after e6, white is forced to play knight c3. So you take on d5 first, and he takes on d5, and you play d6. So now he plays e4, and only now do you play g6. And we obtain the basic position.
Fuck, I actually knew this because I did a little thing with it on the chess.com app about the Benoni, and I remember that the idea was to open it up like this.
Exactly. So this is the basic position and the type of center which branches into many important variations of the modern Benoni. So for instance, white could play f4 here, and you continue with bishop g7, right? And then continue with e5. This is called the McKenna's variation. And you can play f4 again, and of course you go bishop g7, and these are very good actually for black. And then he can play bishop b5 check. This is called the bishop check variation. It's got some ideas behind it.
For that, go back quickly. Bishop b5.
Yeah.
Here, taking into consideration the quick class that Peter and I had at your house, with the here, again, as with the previous one, my gut feel would be to bring the knight out, but I would assume that here I would bring the knight out. I'll take the knight to d7. However, with the lesson that you and I did the previous round, it should be bishop out because it's a bad bishop against a strong bishop, isn't it?
Oh, your bishop is actually not a bad piece.
I'm talking.
Because
there's a light bishop.
Because your pawns are on the dark squares. All right? And I'm not sure what the real move is here, but it wouldn't surprise me even if it's knight b d7.
Okay.
Right?
So knight b d7 is not necessarily a bad move, yeah.
In this particular case, yeah. The Benoni is like a springed position.
Yeah.
So it kind of like unravels like that. But this structure starting here where they go f4, bishop g7, a lot of other ideas can come up. For instance, bishop g7, knight f3, castles, bishop e2. This is the standard 4-pawn variation. And then there's another idea which doesn't start with f4. It starts with bishop d3. You don't have to cram them, but they're easy to understand, especially once you see the game and you see the type of pawn structures that arise. Because you always have the idea of what to do. So this is called the Penrose variation. There's another idea that's similar to the King's Indian. It's like a Samish system, right? And then there is another idea here with knight f3, bishop g7, and white cleverly plays queen check here to lure black pieces in the wrong spots. And there's another idea also after knight f3.
So sorry, they buy queen check. What is the right move here when queen checks? So knight out, queen check.
So it's knight f3,
bishop out, queen check,
right? So at the top is knight b d7.
Yeah.
You can also play bishop d7, but knight b d7 scores a bit more than bishop d7.
Yeah, because bishop d7 prompts a queen to b3, and then you've got to reply with queen to b6, right?
Yes. Oh, queen c7. Either of those moves you are not happy to make, right?
Yeah.
That's the tricky part of it. And white just checks you on this and tests if you know.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, it's going to backfire.
And you're stuffed, yeah.
So, going back, this knight f3, bishop g7. There's also the Ullman idea of playing bishop e2, just keeping it positional.
Yeah.
And then there's knight f3, bishop e2. Okay, let's say bishop e2, castles, right? It remains that you're still dealing with this kind of structure. And in order to understand the strategic elements common to all the variations that we are looking at in this position, you have to consider the structure of the classical center on its own, because that's where all the plans come from. So when I see you violate the structures, like in the game, like we played in the Benoni, it just shows me that you just haven't looked at what you're supposed to be doing in those structures.
No, I appreciate that because, and it's one of my big problems with most of my opens. I've got a general idea of what I should be doing, and based on the general idea, I try to get a balanced mid game
Yeah.
because from a balanced mid game against a normal leeches level, let's call it between 1300 to 1800, I'm fine. I'm happy. I can take it. But anything higher than that, I'm struggling.
Yes, but what I want to sort of
How's the darkening dog? Thanks for popping in, Brute.
okay. So what I want to sort of move you away from is the idea that you're okay with certain types of players and not okay with certain types of players.
Okay.
When you play, it's like all players. Welcome, how are you, Dakwe? When you play against any player, your approach should be like, well, I'm an expert in this position, regardless of who it is. Nowadays, there's no excuse, and it doesn't take a long time, as you will see. Like, it's so easy even to learn how to deal with it, because once I show you the positions, you get the idea behind it, and you'll be getting in there without even knowing the lines, which is the most amazing feeling. For me, I enjoy chess when I play positions I really understand more than anything. I enjoy that more than I enjoy spectacular combinations, and those things come anyway along the way. But what starts is this this mysterious ability to actually beat people and them not even know why they lost, and that comes from understanding. That's where,
Position, yeah.
yeah. So that's where kind of you would never prematurely attack, because you would know, like, oh, that won't work in this structure, and you know in the long term that what I'm doing is the right thing. And that's ideally, that's when you really start enjoying these openings, because this opening is a complex opening, and you average 1500 should never be able to stand a chance if you
Against something like that.
yes, exactly, because
Okay.
you would actually know, not guess. So let's say, for instance, let me show you a position. Let's say, is it FEN? Okay, so, okay, let's look at this structure. What do you say?
I see. What in white or black's position?
Well, you can look at it from any point of view. It doesn't matter, because it's the same thing. You just have to understand.
So E4 is currently an advanced pawn.
This one, okay. So if you
Yeah.
get to an end game, this might be a target, right?
Yeah.
The thing about this pawn is it's not really an advanced pawn, because it can easily be protected by f3. The first thing you need to understand is that there's different majorities in this position. Black has got a queenside majority, white has got a kingside majority.
Okay.
Right? More like white is on the center. White's majority is more in the center than on the wing, right? Whereas black's one is on the queen side. So you find that white will be trying to push these pawns as his main strategy, and black will be trying to advance these pawns at the same time, restrain white's central pawns. And the other thing is, there's this fixed weakness of the d6 pawn in this structure. And then there's the weakness of the d4 square, right?
Yeah.
And then you notice that there's a dynamic edge in these two pawns. white c pawn wants to go. I mean, black c pawn wants to go. White e pawn wants to go.
Yeah.
Now,
Just before the dynamic edge of the pawns wanting to run, the idea here, theoretically, would be to get a knight on the d4 square.
yeah, if you
that
can.
would be a pretty place to put it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you see, we're not even talking about moves, just looking at the structure, because, you know, like, there was one dude who said, you know, they are the soul of chess, right?
Mm.
And he was a real dude. He was, you know, good chess player.
Yeah.
So the mobilization of the respective pawn majorities now, based on the dynamism of the pawns, one on e4 and one on c5, is the most fundamental strategic idea in this position. You get it?
Yeah.
And that's what you should be putting a bit of your attention on if you are playing this position, because that's what the game is about. This particular position is about. Because let's see.
So if white had to push the e pawn here, you should be very reluctant to take with the d pawn.
If he was, you should be very, I mean, usually if he's going to push e5, you probably have pushed e4, right?
Yeah. You would have protected it, yeah.
Yeah. So if you take on e5,
mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can give this position to you. So a position that you would have is like this. Something like this. If you take on e5, what will happen is you're just replacing the pawn that, you know, like that white has gotten rid of. You're just replacing the pawn, right? So in a position like this, he wants to go c4, he wants to go e5. That's really what they're, and they're going to put pieces behind this process.
Yep.
Right? And when white also pushes e5, it usually comes with a kingside attack. Right? He clears.
Yep.
So when he goes e5, he clears the square e4. So sometimes the knight is coming through that square. There will be a knight on c3, which goes to e4 and is coming to the king side.
Mm-hmm.
And if black captures, then you open the f file and is coming to the king side. So this is what we call the dynamism. The dynamism in the position. It comes with a whole barrage of tactics that were not there before, and that are constantly changing. Right? And you're creating a passed pawn, usually on the d file. This is the energy that comes with this opening. So when you make it static, it becomes easy to punish black. But when it's dynamic like this, black has got his chances, because black on his side, he wants to advance this c5. Right? He wants to really push this pawn. First of all, it's when you push c5 in the Benoni, it frees the c5 square, which a knight usually comes in. Remember that knight that you brought here?
Yep.
Now comes and sits here. You've got a pawn on c4. The knight comes and sits there.
Yeah. Yes.
This is a typical idea.
You've got that beautiful outpost right in his face.
Exactly. And then suddenly you also have this diagonal open. So sometimes the queen is coming through there, pointing to the king.
Yeah.
Right? And all this contributes to the organization of active peace play.
Yep.
Right? And there's no peace in these kind of positions. There's no peace. Now, the next thing you need to pay attention to in these structures is the weakness of the d6 pawn and the d4 square.
Yes.
It's almost like anything you look at in this position is a gift and a curse. Let's say, so I'm just setting random positions to just help with this.
Check the random position. Good job. To running to the
Core 4. That must be added. Darkwing, welcome.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, good. So now in this position, the attempt to exploit the respective structural weaknesses is another very strategic, very basic strategic aim. So you can see, right, that white is putting pressure on d6, right? And practically, it's not so easy for you to defend this square.
Yeah.
And normally this knight is usually your king's knight. It goes something like knight d2 and goes to c4 to put pressure here, which is quite funny that it ends up doing this job. The reason for that is because your knight usually keeps an eye on e4.
Yep.
And of course, black's plan is to prevent this kind of scenario by somehow being ready to play b5 just before the knight can get there. Otherwise, you can get stuck in a very painful defensive situation here. And again, this plan of putting pressure on d6 can also be combined with putting pressure on the king side after bishop g3, f4, e5 also, which works. I actually recently saw a game of Botvinnik do something like that.
Sorry, something fell down. Let me just check out what's happening quickly. Sorry.
All right.
Ruben, I've got to go quickly. I'm sorry, can we catch up next time around?
Cheers.
Thank you very much for your time. I'll give you another lesson shortly.
Good. Everything all right?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Okay.
That's it. Cheers, buddy. Bye-bye.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, good. So maybe we'll take it up from there. Cheers.